Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and we're back for more Gen 13. But first, if you like this channel or if you like the Blood Force comic, I'm just going to take a moment to tell you how you can support either and or both of those things. So this is Blood Force. Blood Force is a comic book that I write and draw. It is both a celebration and a parody of 90s extreme comics, and it is full of crazy stuff like this, and the action is only getting better with every page. And in order to read Blood Force, all you have to do is open the description below, click the link, go to my Patreon, and subscribe there. By subscribing on my Patreon, not only do you get access to the Blood Force comic, all of it in its entirety, you also get access to every video that I make before I post it to YouTube, usually about a week or two in advance, as well as the pre-Blood Force stuff. So we're talking about the sketches I made coming up with Blood Force, as well as a couple of projects I worked on before I did Blood Force. All this for just $3 American. You cannot get Arm Blades and Vengeance for a better price. So subscribe today, let's get Blood Force out on those shelves, and let's give the world the comics it deserves. Alright, so wrapping up Gen 13 here with number 5 of 4. And we've got our first misstep on the schedule. This one comes out July, last one was May. But considering this is the first one in 5 issues to actually skip a month, I think we're doing fine there. And fine pose for the cover, although, you know, no backgrounds. It feels like he kind of used up everything on the last one. I mean, there's no background on that either, but you wouldn't know because of how much other stuff is just kind of cluttering the frame there. And we've got what looks like... Are those CG shadows? Kind of feels like it, eh? Anyway. So we're going to get into the actual issue here. And it feels like the cast has been trimmed down a little bit. Still, those 3 guys doing the story, Brandon Choi, J. Scott Campbell, and Jim Lee. Letters were back to Ken Lopez. So... Comic Craft and Richard Starkings, they didn't do a good job on the last one. I didn't notice any problems. There does seem to be an awful lot of sound effects. I remember actually that there were a couple of panels like that were mostly sound effects. Like here, that's an awful lot. I can't imagine they're linked. There is a lot here. Look at that now. You don't see, like, hi, walk, yeah, whack, wah, whump. Yeah, man, that's all over the place. Interesting. Like I said, I can't imagine that's why they've switched back to Ken Lopez, because, like, Ken knows his place or whatever. It's just an interesting thing to point out. All right, so... We ended the last issue, Gen 13, we're leaving the I.O. Castle, and Lynch was going to go and hunt down Ivana. And we get what feels like it's going to be a theme with Gen 13 falling all over each other. Because I know that is the cover for Gen 13 number 0, which we'll be taking a look at in our next video. But yeah, this almost feels like a trial run for this. So, they managed to get up out of the garbage chute, and waiting for them is Threshold, who has a full-on supervillain costume now. And he's going to invite them to take over the world, because he's going to do the supervillain thing properly. How's the costume design? It's okay. It's not super cluttered. Gotta love the matching. Oh, asymmetrical wristbands. Got 2 on this one and 3 on that one. That's weird. But then he's got the matching on the anklets. And what we're going to learn here is that because he's been training his gen powers since he was, 6 or whatever, that he's developed them more than anybody else would have, or anybody else with gen powers has. So he's got like a kind of telekinesis where Burnout is going to shoot him, and he counters the attack right back at him. Got some great-looking panels here. Like, this stuff here is fantastic. And yeah, it seems he has Absorbing Man abilities. I don't think they've explicitly said that, but, that's obviously what the deal is. But yeah, nice dynamic stuff. He's right about the Art Adams clone thing. And is he gonna? And they are gonna say the names of everybody. So Burnout, eh? Let's see. Oh, they actually don't name Grunge, but they did earlier on. And then Fairchild, and Freefall hasn't attacked yet, but he throws Fairchild off him fairly easily, and you know, she thinks you can't underestimate this guy, and he's like the first thing right, so he can read her mind, where he actually hears that. So Ivana is, and then we're gonna cut back to Ivana, and she's gonna evacuate the castle here with the dropouts from the Gen program that they've frozen, and I guess they're gonna vivisect him probably. That seems like an IO kind of thing at this point. And so yeah, Lynch isn't gonna let her escape with these frozen. I mean, they're frozen teenagers who have just been kind of written off. And well, the only way that you can get those kids is by killing me. So he's gonna pull the trigger. Only she blocks the bullet with her hand, and it turns out that she's had her hands replaced with cybernetics, which is an interesting twist. And Lynch survives. Well, he tells us how he survives. Because my cybernetic eye took the bullet and saved my life, but how could you? I miss this kind of melodramatic narration, I think, sometimes. And he's like, no, that voice, it can't be. That's good stuff. And yeah, she got shredder cords, molecularized razor wire. That's right, Jack, they can cut through steel like it was paper. Let's see what they do to you. It's good stuff. That's some classic pulpy shit. And yeah, get the Batman spikes coming out of her other arm. That's all good stuff. Alright, so we're going to cut back to the fight with Threshold. And nice little resetting the scene panel here. That's interesting. That's, like not a totally common way to do things. This is the kind of stuff I kind of want to pay attention to. I mean, this stuff is fairly easy, although, all the slanted panel borders is it does keep kind of keep you on your toes a little bit. But yeah, like all this stuff, simple. This stuff, pretty simple. And then this stuff is just like, I don't know. If you're coming up with this when you're 20, it's like, god damn. It's a little upsetting for me personally, because like, shit, I got to really think to go like, oh yeah, no, I wanted to do something like that on this page. So they're going to, so far Rainmaker and Freefall haven't been engaged in the fight, really. So they're going to find a way basically to do that. And again, some kind of, a Ghibli kind of looking panel, good faces. Just overall. And Threshold is going to make Fairchild and Grunge kneel, which, just like, yeah, okay. For a guy, his fucking plan is to take over the goddamn world. Everybody's plans are so dumb. Ivana wants to take over IO. It's like, for what? Like, you have all of IO's resources at your disposal, and you're not the person responsible for everything. What? Isn't that good? How it is? Maybe? I don't know. And, yeah, so Bliss finds an unconscious Burnout, and J. Scott Campbell is going to take some opportunities to just draw some slinky women. And she's going to hit him with her Bliss thing, which seems to stick around for him. And again, just, we're just going to draw chicks being completely sex objects and just not apologize for that. That's how you do comics. Good angle there. Again, a little bit tough, but he's getting this stuff now, where it looks like it's coming pretty easy. Anyway, Bliss gets electrified by Rainmaker somehow, I guess with her Native American powers. And they take Bliss prisoner, and they're going to basically use her as a bargaining chip with Threshold. And meanwhile, back at the fight with Lynch and Ivana, we reveal that Lynch has his own Gen powers because he was on Gen 12 and Team 7 and all that shit. So uses his powers to wrap her up in her own hand cords and sets off a bomb. Or sorry, Ivana sets off the bomb and escapes. And so he's got a minute to do something. But whatever it wasn't prevent the building from exploding, which is what I figured at first. And so Threshold has... I mean, he hasn't lost in the fight here, but he's... all of a sudden, the building's gone, and so he doesn't really have a purpose anymore, because Ivana's taken off without him, all that shit. I guess he could... he can fly, so he could probably catch up to them, assuming he can match speeds with a helicopter. Maybe he can't. So he's about to turn on Fairchild and Grunge and probably kill them, except that Lynch shows up to save them with his black razors. And those are his stormtrooper guys. He's like, I'm more powerful than you can possibly imagine. He's like, no, we're the same. We got the same powers and shit. It's like, man, you don't know me, old man. So he says, what's stopping me from just killing all of you? It's like, well, we got your sister. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, that'll work, I guess. And let me just flip her over my shoulder here for a gratuitous shot, and then we'll just fly away. And then it turns out there was 2 people in this suit, which is kind of cool. I don't know who these people are. This is Hawkins and somebody? I don't know. Cool suit, though. And then we get a big group shot where everybody's like, yay, we won things. And Fairchild does still have the ridiculous legs, but then so does Lynch and so does Burnout, so I guess it's all fair. And Burnout's still feeling the effects of bliss here. And pretty Jim Lee looking head. Pretty Art Adams looking head. And Lynch... well, so Lynch has kind of declared himself as not working for I.O. anymore. Like, that's obvious from the fact that he's gone against Ivana, who still is representing I.O. So he's going to be disavowed now, I guess. And he invites Gen 13 to live with him, I guess. Or he offers them a headquarters, that kind of thing. And, he'll be there. I don't know, there's like a Sean Connery guy in Danger Girl, I think. He'll be that. He'll do that thing. Only for Gen 13. And here is where they talk about Gen 13 number 0 is going to be coming out soon, as well as the Gen 13 regular series, which J. Scott Campbell will draw up to about issue 20. So that's a pretty good run. And we're still talking about my generation. Woohoo. Got some more fan art. Fan art's tough. Like, this one is not bad. It's not great, but it's okay. Very detailed anyway. This one, it takes a bit of skill, but then the final product is Freefall looks like a reasonably in-shape grandma. And then we get back to the Wildcats animated series. And just pages of, like, get hype shit. Storyboards. And I'm very protective of my characters. But I'm confident that Nelvana will do a terrific job bringing them to life on the small screen. And here's some more shit. Some sketches and behind-the-scenes stuff for the Damonite hovership. Doesn't it look so awesome? And, man, here's the creative team. And you think of all the effort that went into this. And then you look at the opening credits, and it's got shit like...
But we're heroes, not zeros.
Anyway. And then we're going to get some... I do not remember a Lord of the Rings game. Although, I'll be honest, I don't know if I knew what Lord of the Rings really was in 1994. I don't think I read the books at that point. I'm fairly sure I didn't, seeing as how I haven't read them yet. Once the movies came out, was there really a point? You get to, like, Tom Bombadil, and it's just like, okay, what the fuck, man? I'm just gonna watch the movies. Thanks, though. I appreciate the effort. And I do recall the Mortal Kombat game, of course. Although, probably my most vivid memory of that would be when the first game first hit in the arcade cabinet. And that was pretty sweet. I didn't see anything that bloody before that. But that's going to do it for the Gen 13 miniseries. So, pretty good overall. Everything got set up. You know, we got to see everybody's powers fairly extensively. Kind of. We saw Burnout a fair bit. Fairchild, yeah, we saw enough. Freefall and Grunge, it's like, yeah, enough to get the idea. And then Rainmaker, I don't know what the fuck her deal is. And we got Lynch on our side, apparently, so that's cool. But enough. Anyway, you're going to want to see more J. Scott Campbell, right? So that's going to do it for today. We're not quite done with Gen 13. We'll take a look at Gen 13 number 0 to finish out the week. But if you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Go over, follow me on Twitter. More importantly, go subscribe on Patreon. That's where all these videos go as soon as I upload them, usually a week or two before they end up on YouTube. That's also where all the Blood Force pages go, as well as all of the process stuff and any Patreon exclusives. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.